We're back.
At it again.
Yeah. Why does it feel like it's been a long while?
It definitely feels longer in between last week and this week than the previous week and the week before.
Yeah. To me, it feels just kind of like it did during the holidays.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Is there something weird going on? I don't think so.
No.
It just feels weird.
Maybe just busy weeks for the both of us.
Probably. Yeah. I know I've been stressed about work. Some things going on in the office. With the program and how it's evolving. And then, some stuff like that. And I know that you've been doing some stuff for work too.
Some big money moves.
Big money moves. That's what we're about here, Doug. About big money moves.
And tacos.
Yes, dude. We haven't had tacos to celebrate the podcast in a while.
I know.
I just thought about that. It's like, dang, when was the last time? We totally should. BK's is literally down the street.
Because so is what's that? Boca Tacos.
Is it?
It's right on 4th.
It's on 4th. Yeah. Really? Oh, that is pretty close from here, huh?
Yeah, I would say it's probably about the same distance to either one.
No, for real?
Maybe. I'll look up Boca. You look up.
I will,
BK's.
because we got to figure this out. BK's near me.
Boca is 0.9 miles away.
Ooh. BK's is probably the same or similar. Let's see here. It's 1 mile away.
Ooh, just a tad closer.
So Boca is closer by about a stone's throw. So Boca it is. I haven't been to Boca.
They're so good.
I've heard good things. They're like the finalists for like a Tucson cooking competition.
I didn't know it, but they're the same. It's the same company that owns like Sauce and Culinary Dropout and all that.
Oh, really? They're all part of the same restaurant conglomerate?
Yeah, same overall overlords.
Overlords. I mean, food is food, TBH. So,
unless it's bad food.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then no one will consider it food. But enough talking. Let's fight. We got some good stories. Even though, at least in the tech section, it's been kind of a slow week. It's a little somber in the tech section because it was supposed to be Mobile World Congress this week, and because of the coronavirus, it got canceled. Didn't happen. But the company still had a lot of phone news to release this week, so we'll be talking about that. Was it a slow week for gaming news as well?
Yes and no. It was very news-filled, but a lot of smaller stories. Nothing super extravagant or super big, I would say. Yeah. Just a little, like, oh, that's nice to hear, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Little nice little treats.
Yeah.
To keep us entertained. I mean, that's kind of how it is with, like, a lot of industries. They have their cycles, their yearly cycles of announcements, and then releases, and then reviews. And sometimes there's downtime in between that where they're actually developing the product, and then it just goes on and on from there. But yeah, so let's dive right into the stories then. I'll go as always. Not always. Traditionally, I'll go first with the tech stuff. The first story is actually about YouTube and a certain YouTube video that we discussed right before the show. It's about everyone's favorite chill lo-fi hip-hop beats stream on YouTube, or at least I know I listen to it a lot. It's the Chilled Cow YouTube channel. So something actually happened with that channel recently. I believe it was on the 24th of February. No, it was the 23rd of February. But basically what happened is that YouTube banned the channel by accident, of all things. by accident, yeah. It was actually a mistake in the algorithm because the GIF that's used in that stream, it's the one with the girl with the headphones on and as she's, studying or writing through a book or whatever. That's actually a GIF from a Studio Ghibli movie, Whisper of the Heart. Actually,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I didn't know that either. I just thought it was.
I thought the art style looked super familiar, but I never would have put two and two together.
Right, and to me, like, it doesn't look like a Studio Ghibli art style. At least not like old Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, it looks more like kind of refined and freshened up. Like, it looks new. Like, you could always tell with the quality of the art.
Yeah.
And it looks like it was done today, but it still holds that style.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, when I see this GIF, I don't think of Howl's Moving Castle or Spirited Away. Like, all the traditional Studio Ghibli movies. But that's where it's from. It's from, the Studio Ghibli Whisper of the Heart thing. And so what happened is that there was actually a automated copyright takedown request on the channel because of that GIF.
Wow.
Yeah. And so this isn't the first time that it happened either. This actually happened back in 2018 with another YouTube channel that had a similar thing, with like live streaming a GIF from Studio Ghibli, and that was also a mistake. But in this case, the automated system saw it, issued a copyright strike, took it down. But YouTube later tweeted that it was a complete mistake on their end, and so because this happened to the channel, it technically made one of the longest YouTube videos ever on the platform because the stream ended because the channel got banned. And so this video, right, which is actually just the stream, but it's now one of the longest videos on YouTube, clocking it at a little bit over 13,000 hours. So if you want to watch a 13,000 hour video, you can do that on YouTube now of chill lo-fi hip hop.
That had to have broken at least 2 world records for longest video and stream. I don't think anything has been streaming longer than that. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I've definitely seen a YouTube video where it's like nothing but the color black and no audio for like 7 days or something like that. And it's just a YouTube video of nothing. But yeah, other cool things about that video is that it's reached over 218 million views in the process. So yeah, this little mistake got us a little treat of one of the longest YouTube videos on the platform. The owner of the Chill Cow channel, his name is Dimitri. Excuse me, I sneezed. But he said that he tweeted, "My account has been unbanned. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the tremendous support. I'm grateful to have such an amazing community." So he tweeted that out on February 23rd. And he also said, "I will launch the stream again as soon as possible because even though YouTube reversed the things, it takes time to set up the stream again." Yeah, some official words from YouTube on that, which they also tweeted from the YouTube support account on Twitter. They said that the termination was a mistake on our side and that that they've shared feedback with our review team to prevent similar errors from happening in the future. So, that was a fault on their end for sure. And actually, the funny thing is that it wasn't the first time that it's happened to Dimitri's Chilled Cow channel either. This happened before in July and October of 2017, in the beginning months when he launched the channel for the live stream music. So, poor guy, man. Like he's gone through some stuff for the channel, which just wants to play music all the time. But yeah. So there's some funny things going on in YouTube because of that.
I wonder how many people were flipping out when it got cut off because there's always people listening to that.
Oh, do you have any idea how many hipster cafes must have had to look for a new music live stream? I imagine a lot.
Oh, what do we do?
Yeah. The YouTube video's down. It's not working. I click refresh. It just says the video's not available. One other question I had about that is I wonder, with the 13,000 hour video that was caused by the banning of the stream and thus ending it and having a YouTube video from it, I wonder how much server space that video takes up.
Right.
I can't imagine a lot because it's just a looping GIF. With music taking a majority of the data. And it's not like it's a 4K stream either. At least last time I checked, it wasn't a 4K stream. So, but still, regardless of the media that's being portrayed, 13,000 hours of it is a lot.
Is that first half of the video still on the channel? Can you click on it?
I don't know. I haven't checked it. I would love to actually check that out and see if the 13,000 hour video.
What's the name of the channel again?
It's called Chilled Cow. But here in the article where I got my source, you can see a thumbnail of the video playing. 13,165 hours. 23 minutes and 40-something seconds. So, it's a lot. It's a long video. But at least now, if you don't like the chill lo-fi hip-hop song that's playing, which I don't know why you would, because they all sound pretty similar to me, you can just skip it. In that 13,000-hour video.
Very true. I am not seeing that video.
Ah,
tragic.
So sad. I mean, maybe they took it down because it was over a couple terabytes in the server space. I would not blame them. But yeah, it's the stream should be back up at this point though.
Yeah,
you can listen to your lo-fi hip hop from chill beats from Chill to Cow, whatever we post there. Next in the news cycle, there's actually a good story here about Lent and the Pope. He actually made some suggestions regarding to technology that people should take during Lent, with Ash Wednesday being today. Some people can definitely relate. The tech-related things that he mentioned or suggested for people during Lent, and basically, if someone out there doesn't know what Lent is, I'm not Catholic, so I'm definitely not I'm not the authority to say exactly what it is. But from my understanding, Lent is a period of time. I don't know if it's whether 40 days or 80 days or something like that. I think it's 40.
I think you're right, but I am also not Catholic.
Yeah, my instincts lead me to believe, or lead me to think, that it's a 40-day period in which you give up something that you're like really into, in layman's terms, right? In order to like reconnect yourself spiritually. So the Pope made a suggestion that for some people, or for most people, an appropriate Lent activity would be to disconnect from their cell phones and like technology as a whole, to try and reconnect spiritually. He has said, I don't know why my link isn't opening here for me, but I'll see if I can do that here. But because I want to capture some of the words, because I think his exact wording is important. Let's see if it'll open with this. Here we go.
That being said, I wonder if they shut down their Minecraft server.
Yeah, we need to follow up on that. I want to get in on that Minecraft server. Okay, here we go. So the Pope said that he referenced that the internet was a place of too much verbal violence and offensive and harmful words. That the internet amplified these things. He also said that Lent is a time to disconnect from cell phones and connect to the gospel. I don't have an exact quote on this, but the second thing that he mentioned about tech is that he suggested that some people give up trolling on the internet for Lent. That'd be a hard thing for me.
Right.
But because I don't know, every once in a while, it's not like I'm a constant troll on the internet. But when I see the opportunity, especially on Facebook, to troll someone, I just go for it.
Yeah, there's some people who definitely ask for it.
Yeah, and they always take the bait. Always take the bait so hard. And they feel like they have something out there to prove, and I'm just like, lol, like, get fucked, like... and they take it so personally, and it always gets their jimmies super rustled. And that's why I do it. Because I can pick out a person like that on the internet in a conversation, and I just roll with it.
And you can just tell they're over there just heated while you're laughing.
Oh, and it's so much fun. So much fun. So much fun. I have so much fun with that. And then afterwards, and then usually it's someone I don't even know. It's like a friend on someone's Facebook status. And then the whole argument goes on. And then when it's over, I message my friend. And I'm like, hey, sorry about that, like going on your Facebook. I was having a lot of fun just being a troll. Like, just know that, like, I'm normally not like this, but I just saw the opportunity and I had to take it. That's usually my explanation for it. And usually my friends are like, oh, no, like, I totally get it. Like, that person was being super stupid anyway. And, I'm like, yeah, it's lots of fun. I was being super stupid too, but you know me. Ha, ha, ha. That's usually how that goes down. It's been a while since I've done that, though, to be honest. And I'm not Catholic, and I don't observe Lent, so I'm going to keep on doing it.
Yeah, I want to say in terms of social media, like, I pretty much only keep it to keep in contact with anyone. I don't really post anything anymore. or comment on much.
I think for me, Facebook is a place where I go to like post random thoughts like that come into my head.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, an hour ago, I posted a Facebook status where I made up a ton of different variants of see you later alligator.
I've seen that.
And a wild crocodile, and like I was just in my kitchen at home eating a piece of pizza, drinking water, and all of a sudden these ideas just started coming to my head, and I was like, nope, I gotta document this. The whole world has to know, and if they want to use them, it's there for them. And then Twitter is where I go to like shit post and to vent my problems.
I want to say I literally kept Twitter because I have like 3 famous people following me.
That's solid. That's a good reason. I mean, I think I only have like 39 followers on Twitter.
And then also, I do get a lot of news on Twitter, actually.
Yeah, Twitter's a really good news source. I like to go on Twitter because that's where a lot of personalities that I follow, like on YouTube especially, or certain publishers from tech news article sites. That's where they can be a little bit more personal with their audience, which is something that I enjoy.
That's also true because there is a few YouTubers and or podcasters that I follow that, like, it's cool because it's a lot easier to reach out to them, and not all the time, but you will get a response sometimes, which is nice. Like if you ever have questions or anything.
Yeah, that's also where I like to go to keep up with like music news. Like when a band comes out with a new album, like usually I find out about that on Twitter, because the band, the guitarist from the band will be like, hey, like new album's live now,
right? And
that's where I find out. So that's why I like it for sure.
Spotify does that too.
If you follow.
Yeah, if you follow a band, it'll let you know. It'll be like, hey, they just released this.
Yeah, thankfully. And as long as my Spotify app
is freemium,
then I'll continue to do that, I guess. But for me and Spotify, like a lot of the music I follow is like dead artists or disbanded bands. So it's like
fair.
Yeah, but moving on to the next story here. A fun little tidbit, I think. We're moving into more of the phone tech news now. I wanted to lead with this one because it's not so much of an announcement, but more of like a "oh really" moment. This actually has to do with Apple and their iPhone, specifically any Apple product really, but this one was a specific example with iPhones, in that in a recent YouTube video. It's like one of those like video interviews like on YouTube, like like a U.S. Marine like criticizes U.S. Marine movies, or like like a robot. One that I watched today was a robotics expert criticizes robot movies in Hollywood, right? So Vanity Fair on YouTube has their own YouTube series about with video interviews, and usually they'll interview people about a role they took in a movie, or or whatever it can be, really. Vanity Fair has their own YouTube channel, and they do whatever they want with it. But in their latest video, they actually interviewed Rian Johnson, the director of Star Wars The Last Jedi, as well as Knives Out. Mm-hmm. Knives Out being much more critically positively acclaimed than The Last Jedi. And he actually gave us a small little tidbit in that video where he says, Apple, they let you use iPhones in movies, but if you're ever watching a mystery movie, bad guys cannot have iPhones in the movie.
Huh.
Yeah, he says that Apple does not give them the creative liberty to give the bad guys or the villains Apple products to use. So, most commonly it's an iPhone, right? But that also extends to, I guess, earpods or the Apple AirPods, if they're clearly branded with Apple, MacBooks, that sort of thing.
That's interesting.
So yeah. So apparently, like in a statement from Apple about that they've said before, not specifically responding to this article that I'm citing here, but Apple has said and they've actually stated this to the website Mac Rumors, that the product should only be used in the best light, in a manner or context that reflects favorably on the Apple products and on Apple Incorporated. So that makes sense from a marketing standpoint, but at the same time, it's like, that's a little excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just some more words from Ryan Johnson on that. He joked, for the interview on the video, you can watch it there on Vanity Fair. And the video itself is called, Director Ryan Johnson breaks down, scenes from his movies. But in that video, he says every single filmmaker that has had a bad guy in their movie that's supposed to be a secret wants to murder me right now because he gave away that secret. So I haven't seen Knives Out, but I know it's a really good movie, and that's on my list of movies to watch. So when I do watch it, I'm gonna keep an eye out to see who has an iPhone
for Apple products.
Yeah. It's like, all right, yeah, they're not the evil one in the movie. Because they're clearly holding an iPhone, It's one thing to hold an iPhone and to hide the Apple logo, or never show the screen, so it's clearly not an iPhone. Uh-huh. But if someone's willy-nilly, let me check my iPhone in the movie, then they're not the villain, apparently, because if you do that, then you're in trouble with Apple for vilifying their products.
That reminds me of... I don't know if you knew this or not, but, the Fast and Furious franchise?
Yeah.
That movie Hobbs and Shaw they did?
Yes. I didn't watch it, though.
I want to say in The Rock's contract, he has it in his contract that he is not allowed to lose any fights.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
So he either has to win... or it has to end in a stalemate.
Yeah.
But in his contract, he is not allowed to lose any fights.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, that makes sense as far as a marketable image standpoint. But that's just dumb,
right?
Dude. That seems like some baby shit right there. I don't want to lose any fights because I'm The Rock. That's weird, dude.
Yeah.
I wonder how much money that clause makes him. I also wonder why that exists in his contract. Imagine, because if he could lose in a fight, then everyone would be casting him in movies. People who don't like him would be casting him in movies and just have him lose fights.
It makes me wonder what other odd or weird contract deals between not only people but companies like Apple have made.
Yeah.
Because they can't be the only one. There's no way.
I would imagine that Samsung has something similar. Maybe not as strict, but something to that effect. I would not be surprised by that at all. But we don't have information on that. All we have is information on Apple. They do not want their brand associated with villains. Weird, absolutely. But yeah, so that leads us into the next of the cell phone news, actually, and it's actually rather interesting because the as far as cell phone news goes. There was supposed to be a lot this week because Mobile World Congress was supposed to go on this week. And that's where all the big guns, fire off their new phones and that's where all these new announcements were supposed to be made, but we didn't get that. We didn't get Mobile World Congress, but luckily there's a lot of companies that still hold their own press conferences and announcements and things like that. So there's definitely plenty to chew on, even though it's not as big and fantabulous as Mobile World Congress. Part of the announcements or some of the phones that were announced that were in the spotlight per se is LG. Actually, they announced their new their flagship, the LG V60 ThinQ 5G. It's a long name.
It's a mouthful.
But yeah, no kidding. But this new flagship phone, they announced it. So the V60, their flagships used to be the G series, like the G3, the G4, the G5. But they have since switched over to the V series, which at one time they would release the V series alongside the G series. And the V series was supposed to be like the more power user, top hardware spec phone than the G series, whereas the G series was still a flagship phone with a lot of top end specs, but it was more meant for the person who just wanted a nice phone and didn't need a lot of functionality out of it. So this new LG V60 ThinQ 5G, that's a mouthful. But anyway, it has the latest Snapdragon 865 processor. It has a 5G data modem chip in it. It has an improved camera that's capable of 8K video. That seems to be a rising trend in a lot of the high-end phones, because the Snapdragon 865 processor does support 8K video. So of course the phone manufacturers are taking advantage of that feature set of the system on a chip. And of course the V60 includes the flagship feature that all of the LG V series phones has, which is the quad DAC installed on the phone. And what a DAC is basically a digital audio codec, which is an extra chip in the phone that is specifically designed and only handles audio processing for the phone. So when you plug in your headphones, and by the way, this LG phone does have a headphone jack. So when you plug in whatever in there, even some higher end headphones that like usually require an amplifier, like if you're going to be using some high end headphones like for your computer, you usually have to plug it into an amp before you plug it into the computer. But this quad DAC on this phone actually allows you to plug in higher end headphones into the phone without that middle amplifier. And you'll get great audio from it. It's baked right into the phone, which is amazing. Nice. Yeah, and usually that's expensive hardware, and it's built right into the phone.
I really hope more phones bring back the headphone jack. I hate not having that.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I got this Note 9, because it still has a headphone jack. That's one of the reasons why I'm seriously considering the rumored Pixel 4a, because it's supposed to have a headphone jack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's when I'll finally make my jump then, because that's my only downfall with the Pixel 3. There's no headphone
jack. Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I mean, I rarely use the headphone jack on my Note 9, but like recently when I moved back in with my parents, and a lot of my stuff was packed. I didn't have a Bluetooth headset to put on so I can listen to my music or watch YouTube videos on my bed, but I did have my 3.5 millimeter headphones just like laying there, because there was one of that was one of the things that wasn't packed away. So I just plugged it into my phone and listened to my stuff that way. So I was like, yeah, that's nice to have. That's super convenient.
And then as someone who has like a lot of free time with their line of work, I'm constantly listening to music and podcasts, and not having a headphone jack sucks, especially when your phone's dying and you want to charge it and listen.
Yeah, or when your Bluetooth headset is dying. That sucks. Just not being able to have that there. With a 3.5 millimeter jack, you don't have to charge that.
Yeah.
You just plug it in and it works, and it will work forever. You don't have to worry about charging it. So yeah, that's definitely one of the nicer features of this phone. Some of the smaller features there on this LG V60 is that the 5G chips will support both sub-6 5G networks as well as millimeter wave data 5G, which is two different ways of transmitting the signal to and from a radio tower to a phone to achieve 5G speeds. There's two different technologies. One of them's used by AT&T and one of them's used by Verizon. The millimeter wave data speeds, I believe that's the one that's AT&T. Don't quote me on that though, because I'm not too sure. But that millimeter wave 5G is actually really unreliable, because you can get behind a tree and you'll lose that 5G signal. Really? So yeah, it's not that great. But luckily this LG phone will support both 5G wave transfers. You get 128 gigabytes of built-in storage with an optional micro SD expansion in the phone in case you need more storage. You get 8 gigabytes of RAM, and you also get a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So that is a very, very large battery for a phone. So this is one of the phones that I was more excited about.
Mm-hmm.
A majority of my favorite phones, being an Android head, throughout the years has been LG phones. The Google, what was it? The Nexus 5 LG phone, the OG Pixel that I had, LG manufactured. The Pixel 2 XL, LG manufactured. I had an LG G2 and an LG G3. Great phones, some of my favorite phones of all time. I haven't had an LG device in a while. Ever since I switched from the Pixel 2 XL to the Note. I don't like Samsung phones.
No?
No, I definitely they feel more they definitely feel more delicate. Like, I dropped this while I was sitting down, and it already has a huge crack on the side of the screen.
Oof.
That bothers me. And the cameras are not as good as the Pixel was, so that's why I'm thinking of getting the Pixel 4a.
To be fair, you said that's a Note?
Yeah, it's an 09.
Notes, as last time I owned a Note, I know they are not really meant for pictures.
Yeah, they're not.
Because, like, have you seen the camera on the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus?
Yes.
Ooh,
it's a nice camera.
It is a nice camera.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me with the Note 9 is that the shutter speed isn't as fast as the Pixel. The Pixel's instant. It's boom, picture, done.
Yeah, you can hold it down and it'll just keep taking pictures too.
Yeah, and there's definitely been moments with my Note 9 where, you know me, I rarely take pictures, but when I do take a picture, I want it to come out perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Note 9, I've been wanting to take a picture, and it doesn't come out great. So that was a big disappointment, on my end from that. But yeah, so that was one of the the major phone announcements. There is one other phone announcement that piqued my interest per se. I'm trying to find exactly what it is here, but it is a Chinese phone, and it's a budget phone. That a lot of people were super excited about because it has top-end specs, and I'll list them off here as soon as I can find the spec sheet for this thing. And I believe it is I believe it's a Redmi phone. Or, no, it's not a Redmi phone, it's a Realme phone. I believe it's called the Realme 2 X Pro. Or is it? No, it's called there's so many phones, man. This one was just announced. It's the Realme X50 Pro 5G. So, it's largely considered this year's first flagship killer phone, because of its high-end specs and its low-tiered price. Just to list off the specs here, this phone has the latest Snapdragon 865 processor, and it supports 5G. It comes in two colors, if that's important to you, a moss green and a rust red option. I like the rust red option. It looks really, really cool. It's kind of a matte finish, which is really nice for me, in my opinion. It has a colored power button like a lot of the Pixel phones, the newer Pixel phones. I just think that looks cool. It supports USB-C for charging. Also supports fast charging. It has SIM card built into it, microphone, speaker. The screen is a 90 hertz display, which makes animations real smooth and looks really nice. The screen is a 6.44 inch Full HD Super AMOLED display. So the colors are real punchy. They're real nice looking. The fact that it's an AMOLED display with a 90 hertz refresh rate, that's a relatively new thing too. Because AMOLED screens, they're hard to push to get that high refresh rate. But this one has that high refresh rate and it's AMOLED. So not only are the animations smooth because the refresh rate is high, but the colors also look amazing. That is one thing that I really do like about my Note 9 is that it's an AMOLED screen, and so everything looks great. From videos to photos to whatever it is that I see on that screen, it looks amazing. As far as other specs here for the phone, it has dual cameras on the back, a 32 megapixel and an 8 megapixel camera. One of them is a wide angle camera on there for your wide angle pictures, which in my opinion, a wide angle camera on a phone is one of the more useful extra lenses that you can have on the phone besides your main shooter. As far as usability. So there's that. Or actually no, the cameras I just mentioned are the front facing cameras. My bad. On the back there's actually I believe there's 4 cameras on there, or it looks like, or maybe 3 cameras and a sensor. It's kind of hard to tell. But on the back there's a 64 megapixel camera with a 1.8 aperture lens, an 8 megapixel 119 degree, so wide angle camera, and a 13 megapixel 2 times optical zoom camera, so for your deep zoom pictures without getting into your digital zoom, which is nice for stalking people. And then you have a black and white portrait camera to aid with the portrait mode on there, so that helps the other cameras really divide the blacks and the whites from the digital processing to really get yourself a good photo and good blur versus subject divide when it comes to taking those pictures. So with all this good the spec sheet, it continues to have really good specs in that you can have 6, 8, or 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM. And you can have either 128 or 256 gigabytes of the latest UFS 3.0 storage on there. So really fast phone storage, the fastest you can have at the moment. And the battery size is the 4,200 milliamp hour battery, which is typical, for a phone, for a flagship phone. It has the charging. Oh my gosh, it's a 65 watt charger. That's fast. Yeah, I think the typical wattage for a charger right now is like 40 or 50. I think that's the case for the OnePlus, like turbocharging.
I think those on average are about 40 to 50. I think mine's a 45. I think.
Yeah. And this one's 65. That's ridiculous. It will ship with Android 10. With the latest Android public release that's out, the 11 just went into beta and people can, dev for it and whatever. But it also includes Wi-Fi 6, and it has what is it? There's some other flagship thing in here. But anyway, the 6 gigabyte RAM and 128 gigabyte storage configuration of the phone will only cost $528.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So that's a pretty good deal, considering that a similar phone like the Pixel 4 is like $1,000, like almost literally double that price. Those are not official USD prices, only because the prices right now are given in euros. So because this is a Chinese phone, the U.S. availability is still up in the air. But still, it's a kick-ass little phone from the spec sheet, and a lot of reviewers who have had hands-on time with it have said it's a great phone because it's all, it's not out yet, so that's all they've really had is just the ability to spend time with it. But that's a phone that I'm super excited to see.
That tells me that I really need a new computer screen because I finally built one faster than a phone, and now that phone has a faster refresh rate than my computer.
Yeah, I feel your pain. Well, I mean, you can find a 75 hertz screen for usually for $90 or $100 on sale. So yeah, but I wouldn't waste money on a 75 hertz display. You just go for 140. Do yourself a favor and get a 144 hertz display.
If I got the money, I want to go for what is it? What's 244 they have?
Yeah, like a 240. Yeah.
That's what I want.
Oh yeah, well I'll help you find one, dude. They're out there. There's a nice Alienware one that's always on sale. So it's only a matter of time. Also, I promise I'm not sick. I may sound like I'm sick. I just have really bad allergies. I spent most of my day after work outside today replacing the brake pads and the brake rotors on my car. And it was a windy day, so there's lots of dust, and I'm still suffering from my allergies from that. But as far as tech news items, I have been blabbering for way too long, Ruben. Rid me of my misery. Go on with the gaming news.
Heard that, sir. First up, we got a little Horizon Zero Dawn for PC appeared on the Amazon France website. Now, there hasn't been an official announcement for Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, but there was rumors a couple weeks ago.
We covered that, didn't we?
Yeah, it might have been a month at this point.
It sounds familiar.
But this further pushes that we may be hearing an announcement soon.
I hope so. It looks like a cool game that I never got to play.
Yeah, it definitely looked like one of the cooler PS4 exclusives. Hopefully, since this rumor leaked, if it is true, hopefully they got another one that didn't leak also announcing with it. That would be nice. For example, Last of Us Part 2, cough cough.
Yeah.
But we have that, and then more coronavirus news. Unfortunately, CD Projekt Red, PUBG also decided to ditch PAX this year.
Jeez.
Because of coronavirus.
I think this is the 5th week that we've been covering coronavirus.
Yep, they're joining Sony, Square Enix, and Capcom in sitting this out.
The heavy hitters, man.
Those are some big names.
Yeah. I don't think there will be a GDC at this rate.
Probably.
Just like Mobile World Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Enough people are going to back out where they're just going to cancel the whole thing.
That and possibly PAX. Because, that one was PAX, and then GDC, as we were talking before the podcast, EA pulled out, Hideo Kojima Productions pulled out, PlayStation, and Facebook. Those are all big names. People were expecting kind of a lot from Facebook's VR this year.
Yeah, that's true. I keep on forgetting that they're a big player in that.
Yeah, it's always weird because I feel like when you hear their name, you don't hear Facebook, you hear...
Oculus, right?
Yeah,
Oculus. They bought an Oculus.
Yeah, that's what it is. So that means I'm hoping they're still... I don't see why they wouldn't still do their announcements on their own individual YouTube channels or just let news sites cover whatever stories they were going to cover.
Yeah, or having their own little Nintendo Direct sort of style thing.
However, it's not gonna have as big as an impact as being at these events because people wait around for these events to hear everything at once.
Yeah, it's a huge hype train every single year, and rightfully so.
And when you have these events, those videos take over YouTube. If you have every company only doing a solo video here and there, it's not going to have as big of an impact, which is going to, kind of take away from that punch.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It says... EA provided a statement saying, having closely followed the global situation with coronavirus and with recent escalations of cases in new regions, we've decided to take additional steps to protect the well-being of our employees, including the restriction of all non-essential travel. Let's see, as a result, we are also canceling our official participation at GDC and limiting attendance to other events. We are continuing to monitor the situation and will adjust guidelines to our employees as we feel appropriate.
Smart. The standard corporate reasoning given there.
Yeah. It just it sucks because those are the events I look forward to the most, especially since we started doing this because it
gives us something to talk about.
And now they're like, hey, no news. No news all at once.
Yeah.
No big weeks for you. But I mean, obviously keeping people safe is more important. So it's good to see that they're actually taking the right steps and not just like, screw it, we'll chance it.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, I mean, if there were such groups that wanted to, cause harm, those would be the place they would want to do it.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you could do anything with, chemical or biological warfare. So, I mean, it's kind of...
Bioterrorism is a real thing.
Yeah.
So don't give them that platform. Makes sense. They're being responsible. For once.
Yeah. For once, EA is being responsible.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Like I said, I just got a bunch of small ones. Let's see. More GeForce Now news. Bethesda Softworks games have been removed, except for Wolfenstein Youngblood, which for some reason still remains accessible. So that's, of course, the second big company to pull out, the first being Activision.
Yeah, so what games were on there that were removed from Bethesda? We said Doom, right?
Doom. I would assume Skyrim, because even though it's older, I mean, it's still being put on to new stuff. The modding community is still huge.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fallout 4. Let's see. See if I got it.
That's weak, man. Those are huge titles.
Yeah. Which makes me think even more so that maybe their pay isn't that great. Because I want to say I was actually talking earlier with Madge about this, but apparently, like, if they pay the way Spotify pays their artists, I think it's like every 10,000 or 1,000 plays, you get like $4. So if it's something like that, or
something
even
super basic,
yeah,
as far
or
as
even
compensation goes,
hours played total or days played total, like, it can really hurt the company.
Yeah.
I don't see it hurting big companies like that because they make a lot of money, but for smaller companies, I could definitely see. Yeah. So it's definitely interesting, and it also makes me wonder if maybe they don't have some kind of, like, their own agenda for putting out some sort of subscription service.
Yeah, you're right. I never even thought of that.
Which could definitely be it as well. Let's see. I don't think they put out why they backed out.
I don't think we've heard an official statement from anyone as to why they backed out of GeForce Now. At least I haven't researched into that.
Let's see. It says Activision pulled its games from NVIDIA's GeForce game streaming service, which was later attributed to a misunderstanding, saying NVIDIA misunderstood the terms of the deal that granted its access to the games of the GeForce Now beta. Now it appears that another misunderstanding may have taken place, this one involving Bethesda Softworks.
Yeah.
Let's see. NVIDIA declined to comment on the reasons for the removals or the possibility of Bethesda's return. But a blog post that went up yesterday implied that further withdrawals could be coming.
No! GeForce Now is doing so well at launch.
Yeah, they were smoking Stadia.
What's that other service again?
that other streaming one. And, I mean, if enough big companies back out, it's definitely going to hurt.
It could just be abandoned.
Which would be sad.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, they're doing way better than Stadia. Let's see. After that, we are going to move on to Rainbow Six Siege. Ubisoft wants to eventually make it go free to play. I don't know if you know how much it costs, but it's basically a $20 game right now. And then, of course, you buy your season pass and whatever. I believe they have loot boxes.
Loot boxes.
$25 to $30 annual passes, $15 premium cosmetics. Let's see, $10 battle passes, and then, of course, the $20 flat for the game. They eventually want it to go free to play, but first they want to get rid of smurfing, which, as we were discussing before, I don't understand how they can have a problem with that. I don't see a whole lot of people buying $20 over and over again for the game unless they allow people to make multiple profiles from one purchase.
No, that wouldn't make sense. That would not be smart if that were the case. It definitely has to be like people buying the game
'Cause like
$20.
I can't imagine enough people rebuying it to make it a problem though.
Like
I could see YouTubers or streamers doing it if they want to have their own secret profile where they can play and not be bugged.
Yeah.
But
but for us common folk,
who
don't have $20 to spend on a video game account every once in a while.
Like, sure, I have games that I've bought multiples of, Skyrim, but they're for 2 different systems, and I bought them roughly 10 years apart.
Yeah, not every season.
I don't know. To me, it seems like an excuse not to go free to play, just because, like I said, I don't see people buying it. But if there is people buying it, more power to Ubisoft. Either that, or they could not have a problem with it now and just think that when they go free to play, that'll become a problem. I didn't even think of that. That's probably what it is. Yeah,
smurfing would become worse with the free to play model.
Yeah,
way worse.
Okay, then that makes a little more sense. Next up, we got just a funny little one I threw in here. Did you hear about the recent bug or glitch that players found in Red Dead 2?
No, I didn't.
Not the female horses one. There's one where...
Oh, I did hear about that one.
It's not that one. Apparently there's a bug that's causing female horses in Red Dead to grow balls. And there's a new one that someone found that basically, if you eat a certain plant in Red Dead, because you can find plants and, make stuff with them or eat them. Yeah. If you eat a certain plant, it makes you sick and throw up. And players found that during this animation, it's impossible to take fall damage.
Oh!
So they're eating these plants and then walking off the edge of whatever, and they'll just puke all the way down. And it prevents them from losing any damage, and it looks absolutely hilarious.
I bet that looks real nutty.
Yeah, it's like a Spider-Man
oh my God.
rope of puke.
Yeah, it's like going up.
And they decided to name it vomit roping.
Judging from that picture that I just saw you put up here in front of me, that looks quite about it.
It's pretty hilarious.
It's like jumping off, because it's not like Grand Theft Auto where there's huge buildings for you to jump off. Yeah. You have to find a canyon, make yourself throw up at the edge of the canyon, and just watch yourself fall and the vomit rise up. Some real creative people in Red Dead 2, man.
See, I threw that one in there before this next story because I figured we'd also possibly talk about more worlds after this.
Yeah.
But Teamfight Tactics' next update is coming up mid-March. Along with it will be released the mobile version. And the next update is basically going to be Cybernetics and Star Guardians.
Basically, that'd be cool.
That's going to be the theme. So, of course, you're going to have the Star Guardians in there, Poppy, Jinx, Misfortune, and then a bunch of, let's see, where is it? Cyber Skin, so Yasuo, Leona, there's going to be the Fizz, Mecha Malphite.
Yeah.
And along with it, there's going to be, of course, new classes, which all offer their own unique bonuses. I know you don't play a lot of Teamfight Tactics, but one of them, an example for Star Guardians, is going to have every time, if you have enough on your team, every time you cast a spell, it basically increases all of the other Star Guardians' mana so that they're closer to casting a spell.
Right, yeah, and that was going to be my question, because, I know that the Elementalist thing, with the Drakes and with Lux, that affects the game a lot. Especially with Lux, because you can choose which element Lux, transforms into, and that affects how you play her. So that was going to be my question here, is for the Cyber Skins and for Star Guardians, how is that going to affect the gameplay?
Well, it's going to be an entirely new meta, so when they introduced Elementals, the previous meta is going to be gone, meaning new characters, some of the old returning characters, new comps, some old comps. This new one is actually going to be called Teamfight Tactics Galaxies instead of Teamfight Tactics Elementals.
Yeah.
And they're also introducing a new feature in that every game you play is going to play very differently because they're going to introduce galaxies, which, like, one game you have, you'll be playing in, they gave an example, the Nicoverse, where every player in the game starts with 2 Nico's help.
Oh.
And, do you know what the Nico's help does or no?
I know you described it to me, but I don't remember what it does.
Basically, any champion you have, if you hover that item over them, it creates a duplicate of them, so it makes it easier for you to get 2 or 3 stars faster.
Yeah,
Every player is going to start with 2 of them.
Jeez.
And then they gave another example
some broken comps will come just from that.
Of a work in progress named the four-cost carousel, which is in the beginning of the game. Obviously, you start in your circle where you pick a champ.
Yeah.
Every champ in that circle in that galaxy, on the first round of picking, is going to be a four cost start.
Jeez.
So you're going to have like some heavy hitters in there
right off the bat.
Those are the only 2 examples they gave for different galaxies. They said as the season goes on, you're going to see more of them appear. They might switch some of them out and in, but that is for that. Let's see. I want to say they had a bigger list of... But they did also say that sorcerers would be returning as a comp, which if you have enough of them, it increases mana regen for everybody. So if you build Star Guardians and that, like, you're going to be popping off.
Spells for days. That's going to be wild.
Yes, sir.
Building Archangel Staff.
Here it is. Alright. So, let's see. Star Guardians, they have... Poppy's going to be tier 1, Zoe tier 1, Ari tier 2, Nico tier 3, Syndra tier 3, Soraka tier 4. Annie is going to be back in as a mech pilot / sorcerer. Cybernetics, they got Leona, Fiora, Aurelia, Blade Masters, Zaya, Shen, Yasuo, Kale. Mech pilots, Annie, like I said, Rumble, Fizz. And then they have another new class called Demolitionists, which sounds pretty broken.
Ooh.
Ziggs is one of them. They don't say the other one, which leads me to believe that either someone's going to be... Oh, Rumble's the other Demolitionist. And when they cast spells, they stun for 2.5 seconds, which is a long time in that game mode.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what they shared. There's more notes on it on their official... site. They put out a dev note page on it 10 hours ago.
That's going to be so broken on release, I can already tell.
Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare the first couple of weeks. I know they're going to be balancing a lot of stuff. That time's got to come down a little. But if the cost is high, I mean, if the cost is high for either character, it could be a lot harder to get, or you won't get them until further late game, so they might not.
Yeah.
That being said, sir, Worlds, not Worlds, Spring, right?
Spring Split, yeah, we're on Spring Split.
C9.
C9 and 0, dude. The meme was alive for a little bit. They're now C10 and 0. Still undefeated in the North American LCS.
I'm so salty.
yeah, me too.
I'm even saltier because I've been a fan of them for so long and I don't own any merchandise that if I buy merchandise now, I'm going to just seem like a bandwagon.
like a poser, dude. You poser. Everyone's going to call you a poser, dude. Fun fact, I ordered a C9 jersey from China. And it never got here.
No?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so sad. Luckily, it was only $10, so I only wasted $10 on merchandise that never made it here. But, yeah, I never got it. Yeah, so they're still undefeated, 10-0.
And on the opposite of that spectrum, CLG is 1-9.
1-9. They've only won one game this split.
That is tragic.
That's so sad.
They're at a whopping 3 points.
Yeah. Pretty sure I could make that more points as their mid laner. And people were disappointed as when Pobelter came in as their mid laner. He just didn't make the impact that they
were hoping.
Yeah. At least they didn't get a 2-0 weekend like they were hoping. But along the same lines, we have 4 teams tied for 6th.
Yeah.
Of those being 100 Thieves, Golden Guardians, Evil Geniuses, and Team Liquid. I'm never going to get over how bad Team Liquid is right now.
Right?
I honestly think they're memeing.
You think so?
Yeah, I honestly think that they're memeing the split, especially with how they started without Broxa.
Mm-hmm.
That really threw them through a loop as far as team synergy goes. In the past, Double Lift has expressed how he doesn't think Spring Split is important. And it's, Summer Split is the one where you have to try hard and to make it in qualified worlds. So I think he doesn't speak for all of Team Liquid when he says that, but he is a leader on Team Liquid, so when he expresses that, it's easy for the rest of the team to rally behind him, especially with such a crappy start with not having their star jungler Broxa. They're just like, yeah, whatever, just play it chill, it's just a Spring Split, like, if we lose, whatever. This was actually something that I feel that was supported on Double Lift's Twitter, actually. Let's see if I can bring it up here real quick. But after let's see if I can find it real quick. But basically, he went to Twitter, and he was kind of memeing because after their last 2 games this week, he posted on Twitter, increased our total wins by 33% today. GG. And it's like, well, you're not wrong, because he won 1 game. And then he changed his picture to a Squirtle Squad picture. He put me when they pull up the LCS standings, and it's the Squirtle Squad with the jumping glasses, and that's his profile picture right now. He kind of memed before that too. He posted a couple things. He posted multiple times a day, and the multiple posts that he put on the same day when they lost, their game that they lost this week, he put "I am reborn" as his first tweet, and then after that he put another tweet that said, "Fuck, we lost because I was stuck underground all game. Tomorrow I will rise above the soil and blossom." So just from that, I think Team Liquid they're trolling. They're totally trolling.
If they, dude, like, oh my god. I'm so salty that this is the time that C9's doing good.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea.
Right. Well, and something that I put in the chat when we were talking about this in our Facebook group that we have with our friends, that C9 is the only team that does not have a former LCS champion in it.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the other teams, they have some type of former LCS champion in at least one of their roles. But Cloud9, nah, dude. They're a bunch of youngsters. They just want to win. But I mean, I wouldn't consider Sven a youngster, but you know what I'm saying. He was like a champion in the LEC. So that statement that Dot Esports made about them, no former LCS champions in that team, true, but I mean, what's more worth it to you, Ruben? Being a champion in the LEC or being a champion in the LCS?
LCS for sure.
So to me LEC is definitely the harder region. So I'd put more weight on the LEC championship. But Sven wants to be a guy to win, an LEC championship as well as a NALCS championship. He'd be the first one to do that.
If he really wants to prove himself, he's got to move to Korea.
Just send him on over to Korea. Yeah, for sure. And it's wild to think that no one has done that yet, because like Jensen, he was LEC back when it was the EU LCS. Didn't win a championship there, and then came to NA and won a championship here.
I would imagine it's all got to come down to pay.
Yeah.
Like in the long run, there's probably a noticeable pay difference.
Oh yeah, you definitely. The NALCS is one of the most lucrative pay systems for their players in the entire League of Legends Championship Series, which is why we see a lot of imports here. That's why we see a lot of European imports. That's why we see a lot of Korean imports that do poorly because they're just here to collect a paycheck. That's just a fact of how the leagues work, apparently. Unless you're Faker and you're literally signing, $15 million contracts with SKT. But that's kind of that's an edge case, not really the commonplace. I miss old SKT, dude.
Dude, I'm looking at more C9 stats. They have yet to lose a mid lane turret.
Oh, really?
It says they have yet to lose a mid lane turret, and each player sports an impressive KDA over 7.
Wow, including Vulcan, their support. That's wild.
See, Sven averages 4.9 kills a game with 0.3 deaths, giving him an astounding 39.67 KDA according to Gamepedia.
Yeah, that's excessive. They're doing really, really well this split. I wonder, because the summer split is going to be way more competitive. Team Liquid's going to kick it into high gear, or a higher gear per se. So I think it's just a matter of time before. I mean, eventually Cloud9 is going to lose a game, right? But how convincingly they lose, I believe, is going to be by a wider margin than we are expecting right now, for sure.
So you're saying you don't think it's going to be a close game? You think they're going to get blown out of the water when they lose?
I think it's still going to be... I think it's going to be a close game, just not a super close game. Like, the win... Whoever beats Cloud9, they're gonna deserve their win, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Come on, let's go CLG.
CLG's going to take down Cloud9. They're going to hand them their first loss. It's happened before, in splits before.
It'd be wild.
Yeah. I'm sure there's someone who's going to place a bet on that who's going to make a lot of money.
I wonder what that bet would pay, honestly. It's got to be like...
thousands at least.
Let's see, but in terms of news, sir, that's all my stories.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have really anything else to talk about.
Well, I was waiting for PAX to get some juicy stuff, but
yeah. But that's not happening. Sad panda. Yeah, I think. Let's see here. Just some not really LCS news, but just some Riot League of Legends news in general. Looks like in the line of recent jungle buffs to certain champs, like they're buffing Darius to be a jungler, as well as a handful of other people. Looks like they're also targeting Poppy and Brand to go into the jungle. Yeah. So Poppy I can definitely see. Brand is a weird one. But Brand jungle, I'm a Brand support guy. So Brand jungle would definitely be something that I would like to see. I think it could be fun for sure. He's gonna clear chicken camp so fast.
Those ganks will be nasty.
Yeah. Press R, flash, stun. Call it a day. But yeah, that's the rumor mill here. Sona is also set to be nerfed in patch 10.5, which is really sad because I used to be a Sona main when I first started playing support. And I haven't really played her since she's been out of the meta, a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And now that she's really strong, I haven't played her at all. I might play her today, actually. But we'll see. Just before she's nerfed. But yeah, she's set to be nerfed. Really sad. Kaisa is set to be buffed in 10.5, which is interesting, to say the least. Just because I think Kaisa is really, really strong. Ornn is also on the chopping block to receive nerfs, thank goodness, because he just does way too much damage for being so healthy. I'd prefer them to nerf his damage than nerf his tankiness, to be honest. But I don't know what exactly they're going to do there. I'm pretty sure we're going to see it in the PPE, the PBE, whenever that drops. But we'll just have to wait and see.
As I understand it, too, there's a lot of item changes coming in 10.5 as well.
I didn't hear too much about the item changes, to be honest.
So I know Tiamat, the item that builds into, what's it called?
The Hydras.
Yeah.
The Titanic Hydra and the Ravenous Hydra.
I want to say they're taking away the active on that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Dang. I mean, I think it'll still be a good item without the active, to be honest. I barely use it when I play.
Okay, so item changes. Blade of Ruin King, melee champs now deal 12% of target's current health as damage. which is going to be nasty on Zed. It's going to be dangerous.
Shred people.
Death's Dance is going to have a new recipe, as well as its AD decreased from 80 to 60.
Ouch.
Frost Fang. Let's see. This item now says, while nearby an allied champion, damaging spells and attacks against champions or buildings grant 15 gold. Howling Crescent's going to be changed to the same thing. Attacking champions or building grants 15 gold. Let's see. Lifesteal increased to 18% from 12% on Ravenous Hydra.
Nice. We need more lifesteal in League of Legends. That's a really fun mechanic.
And then Titanic Hydra's getting changed. Cleave's basic attack damage increased to 5 plus 1.5 of your max health, as opposed to 5 plus 1%. See, and Cleave's splash damage increased to 40 plus 3% of your max health, as opposed to 40 plus 2.5% of your max health.
Nice, some good tank buffs right there. That's gonna make Volibear really strong.
It's gonna be Bruiser season again, sir.
Ooh, dude, I love playing Bruisers. It's really fun.
I feel like you're gonna see a lot of. You said we're gonna see. Obviously, he's not a Bruiser, but we're gonna see a lot more Zed. I feel like Riven might come into play a lot more again.
Yeah, I think a lot of dueling auto attack based Bruisers are gonna do really well.
Fiora.
Yeah, Fiora's gonna do really well. I feel like Aatrox is gonna do really well, although I consider him more of an AD caster.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same thing with Jace and Riven. They're all AD casters. But I think with these Blade of the Ruined King buffs, and then the Ravenous Hydra or Titanic Hydra, those are really strong spots for these champs that I can see them doing real well.
Oh wow, Wukong got a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Again, he did.
Boo, Blitzcrank's getting nerfed.
Are they nerfing his pull range?
No, his armor.
Dang it.
Let's see. I think that's all I wrote, sir.
Yep, that's all I wrote too. And we're about an hour and 12 minutes, almost 13 minutes into the podcast, so I would say this is a safe place to end for today.
Sure. Yeah. Until next time.
Until next time, yeah. As always, thank you for tuning in. We highly encourage you to follow us on all of our social media. The ones that are posted here. If you're watching the YouTube video, the social media is posted there on that video. So make sure to check us out. We're at I don't know what I'm even saying anymore. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. We'll go ahead and play our outro music. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.
Bye-bye.